Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another super cool radio interview. I'm your host, always, Matthew Thomas. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am very excited because I got a great guest returning to the podcast for the third time. He is the guitarist and songwriter for the Oxys. Please welcome Jason Ginchy Kottwitz.
Thanks for having me today.
Of course, it's awesome to see you again. I know it's been a little bit since I saw you at Liars Club in Chicago last year, but great to have you back.
Yeah, it's good to see you again. That was a great time at Liars Club last time.
Oh, that was my first time at Liars Club, and now I understand why people you have to see a show there. I understand now.
Yeah, it's always super fun there. Those guys are always super accommodating to us, and we have a blast when we roll in there for sure. We'll be back to Chicago soon, but this time we'll be over at Reggie's, and we're playing with Fear. And also on the bill is The Evictions.
Oh, that's a great lineup with three amazing bands as well. I mean, Fear is awesome. Fear is Fear. They're so cool.
Yeah, we played with Fear maybe a year and a half ago. It was a super fun time. That was down here in Austin.
Well, right on. Obviously, some great shows. Hopefully, I'm going to try to make it out to the Chicago show because that's going to be a fun time with everything. But as with everything with the Oxys, especially the second half of 2025, you guys been very busy. But before that, you guys actually announced you guys signed with Cleopatra Records. So I'm kind of curious, before we talk about the album, so what led to signing with Cleopatra?
Our first two albums came out on Deadbeat Records. Tom put those out, and we're super thankful. We were happy to be there. Can't thank him enough for all his efforts pushing those records. It's just time for us to make a change, make a switch, and try to reach a new market, perhaps. And Cleopatra seems to put out a lot of similar stuff that we do. They have a target market for what we do. Our introduction to that label was for a Valentine's Day comp that came out this year. And I think it was called Punk Rock Valentine's or something like that. And we were really amped to be on that one. Fear's on that one, UK Subs, too many bands to list, but all great bands. So we were really honored to be a part of that.
Oh, for sure, definitely. Obviously, it fits right in with obviously the bands on the label as well. So I'm very happy that obviously with the new label signing, obviously things are going great, and you have the new album coming out obviously in September through them. So all very good things. We're
going to drop a couple more videos and a couple more singles off the record before it comes out on the 19th of September. So I definitely looking forward to all of that.
Oh, for sure. I did want to obviously dive into the album. So I've had the opportunity to listen to it. I very much enjoy it. It just has that Oxy vibe and feel to it. It's just a great album, and something I listened to a few times, and each time I kind of picked up on something different, or I got more enjoyment out of it, or something like that. I always notice different things every re-listen to the album.
Sure, good.
So, but I'm curious, before we talk about the music, so I'm curious the title. So Casting Pearls Before Swine. So how did that come about to name this album?
Well, I mean, Casting Pearls Before Swine is obviously a biblical reference, and I don't remember exactly how it came up. Somebody said that phrase to me. I believe it was my wife said that phrase to me, and I just sat there. I thought about it for a minute, and I was related it to our music. And a lot of other bands maybe that do our style of music. It's such an antiquated style of music, kids really aren't listening to it. Some are, but I wouldn't say a majority. I'd say it's a very niche market. But while what we're doing in other bands who might sound like us and put out that style of music, they're putting out some really great stuff. And, a lot of people just maybe aren't paying attention to the style because it's antiquated, such an older style. And I mean, that's kind of what we were saying is, hey, we're going to put out some great music. You know, whether or not you turn your nose up to it is your own decision. But we're gonna give you our best offering.
Well, I really like that, and you know, obviously, I do obviously hope people do check out this album because, like, I think it's awesome. I think it's a great, like, just you know, awesome like list of songs, and I very much enjoyed it with it. So I hope people do check it out, and hopefully, take notice of the Oxys.
Well, let me ask you this, because you've seen us live. Did this record capture the energy that we have live?
I think so, and that's kind of what I noticed. Like, obviously, because I believe at the Liars Club show you played a few of these songs off the album. I believe.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, it captured that energy. I think, like, obviously, I listened to the first like two albums before, and now the new one, and I think it definitely captured the energy the best. And the sound of like the Oxys, like compared to like the live show, this is probably the closest like studio wise, I think, to like a live show.
Oh, for sure, without a doubt. Like our first record, we didn't even really know what we were doing. You know, me and Phil were writing songs during the pandemic just to kill time, and so we never played live. That album was out before we ever even played a live show. So we had really no idea what any of those songs were going to sound like in a band setting. And the second record, for all intents and purposes, was also mostly written before we had ever done a live show. So when those albums were done, it was just like, I don't know, we were just throwing shit at the wall to see what would stick, you know? And, then we started playing a lot of live shows. We had a better idea of, okay, this is what the band sounds like. These are what the old songs sound like in a live setting. So we finally had an opportunity to try to capture a little bit of that. And it helped a lot because we played a lot of shows, and we've had people say, oh, your live show is so much better than this album or that album or whatever. And we really wanted to try to capture that on this record. We've almost finished writing our next record, and we're going to go in and track that really soon. And hopefully it will just be more fine tuning of capturing our live energy as well.
Well, I think so, especially like as I said, I listened to all three albums, and I can really see the progression from like the first one to this new one that's about to be released. Mm-hmm. And I think, yeah, it captures the energy, but also it's got to like, I mean, it sounds good, but like what I really like, it's got a little bit of that like grittiness to it, a little bit of like just like that rock and roll edge to it that I think that just embodies like what the Oxys are. Like, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. No, that's kind of the thing too, is we've kind of came into our own as far as our sound goes. So, you know, before we played live and I wrote some of those other records, I mean, I didn't know what the Oxy sound was like at that time. Even me and Phil were just writing songs, so it was really hard to write a song and then be like, well, does this sound like the Oxys? Because we didn't know what the Oxys sounded like. Really, we knew where we wanted to be to some extent, and if we liked the songs, you know, we'd just be like, awesome, throw it on the record. But now it's like we can listen to the songs that we write and we demo, and we can be like, yeah, this sounds on point with the Oxys brand, or this is what the band sounds like. It makes that a lot easier.
So kind of curious. So kind of going along with that. So obviously you said like, you know, obviously the first album you didn't play live shows until like obviously like mostly through the second album when that was completed. So like has like performing live really like honed in like the Oxys like sound, vibe, and style?
Yeah, I guess the answer to that is yes, to some degree. I mean, I'm still writing all the music and all the guitar parts and the bass, and I mean, I'm still writing everything. So it's the same guy writing all the parts. It's. I mean, I don't even know how to explain it. I mean, I'm writing the songs more so now to be geared for the live show. Like I know what kind of tempos that we work best in. I know what keys we work best in. When we're clicking on all cylinders, there's a thing going on there, and I'm writing more with that in mind now than I was before. You know, it's like I'll write a song and I'll be like, well, you know, I'll listen to it and I'll be like, oh yeah, this is going to sound great live. And I'll know that before we ever take it in the rehearsal room to work it out, because I know it's working for us based on what we do live.
Oh, I know a little bit of an odd, unorthodox question, but I was just curious, obviously,
Yeah.
with that. So, but I'm so kind of curious. Obviously, I've listened to the album. I very much enjoyed it. So, like, for anyone who hasn't listened, because obviously it's not available yet, but for you, like, how would you describe, like, this album for anyone not familiar?
How would I describe this album? I mean, to me, it sounds like, you know, maybe an early 80s punk rock and roll type record, I would say. I mean, that's kind of what we do, that late 70s, early 80s punk rock and roll thing. I mean, some people call that action rock. I don't set out with the intention of writing action rock. I like a lot of bands that fall into that genre, of course. We're probably influenced by a lot of the same people that people writing in that subgenre. You know, we're probably influenced by the same things, I'm sure. It's just, I don't really know how to categorize the band sometimes, and I hear people say a lot of things. The other day I heard a guy at a club we're playing played the record, and he billed us as synth punk, which is kind of hilarious because we don't even have a key player in our band. But I guess the keys were more predominant on this record, you know? Like, I write the key parts and I'm just writing melodies and stuff that fits the song. I'm not writing songs with the idea of synth in mind from the get-go. And it's not even really synth. It's old organs. It's Farfisa, B3, Rhodes, that kind of thing. I'm not using any like modern synths or anything. But I realize synth is a pretty hip like catchword right now. So I mean, people can call us whatever they want.
Well,
I mean, for me, we're just playing rock and roll. Some people call it punk. I don't know. That word was hijacked many years ago, and I don't even know what punk is anymore. So I just call it rock and roll, and we're doing what we want and writing songs that we want to hear.
I would call it great rock and roll. To me, it's yeah. I mean, it's really just rock and roll. You guys, you don't really pull any punches. It's just great music from beginning to end. And Idiot Box is my favorite that I've listened to like so far off the album. That's definitely been my favorite so far.
Yeah, that's a catchy song for sure. It's one of our favorites too. That's why we did a video for it.
Oh yeah, and I believe you guys play that at Liars Club. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we did play it. We close
Okay.
with that song sometimes.
All
It's
right.
good. That song is interesting. It's a little more riffy, I guess, than what I'm used to writing. But I like it for that reason.
Oh yeah, and I like just the lyrics too. I find it kind of catchy too with everything like with it. Like I can see it like singing, like me singing it while I'm listening to it. So yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a sign of the times type of song, you know.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%, 100% with that. But yeah, for sure. I believe so. The album, I believe, is currently available for pre-order right now in Cleopatra, I believe. So if anyone wants, definitely check it out. Get your pre-order in. Check out obviously some great videos on YouTube as well from it. So, but I kind of want to. You did mention a little bit ago you're already writing the next album for the
Yes.
Oxys.
Yes.
Can you give like any kind of hints of like this new music that you're writing?
It's just going to be a continuation of this record that's coming out on the 19th. You know, it's just takes off where that left off and kept going. You know, we kind of have our sound now. We're writing songs, and Phil's got a lot of great ideas lyrically. He's always writing, you know. I mean, whether or not he's writing for a song or whether or not he's just writing for fun or for, you know, some sort of mental release, I guess. He's got some really good stuff in the works this time. He's actually you know, on the first couple records, I wrote several songs, lyrics along with the music. He wrote a lot of it too. We kind of maybe 50-50, 60-40, whatever. But he's been doing more of the lyric writing for this record than I have. And that's great because lyrics aren't my favorite thing in the world to write. Like, I like to focus on guitar playing. That's what I do. And the less I have to worry about lyrics, the better.
Well, I really liked him. Obviously, he's a great singer too. Obviously, seeing him live too, he's awesome. He's just so cool. But it's cool to have, obviously that he's writing more and doing that because obviously he can express himself with that. But also he's good at it too. Like, I mean, so how much is, like, with this album, the new one being released, like, how much was it Phil contributing to the lyrics?
He contributed a bulk of the lyrics on the new record. I mean, like Mr. Softy, I wrote that song. Maybe a couple others. I would come up with choruses for the songs. Like, I would write hooks for the song, and then I would send them over to him. Like the song Toe Tag Lovers, I wrote the chorus for that song, and then I was like, here's an idea to help kickstart you on vocal melody or whatever, and I'd send it to him, and then he would write the rest of it. So we do that from time to time on some records. Overall, for the most part, though, he did a bulk of lyrics on the new record.
Obviously, the new album coming out September 19th. I'm excited for that, but also I'm just excited for you guys. Obviously, you've been very busy, and I just like seeing the way you guys have been progressing and just growing as a band as well and playing some killer shows. So I'm happy for you guys with everything.
Well, thank you. I mean, we certainly work hard as a band, and we're keep moving and shaking, it's one of those things, like, we really never know what's going to happen. We're not like a huge band. I doubt we would ever even get to that point. So it's not really a goal of ours. Like, we're just trying to write records that we enjoy, and we play as many shows as possible, and good things keep happening for us. So we're just going to roll with that.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Well, I hope everything goes well for you guys. But I did want to touch on just a few topics that I want to touch on. Actually, a few questions from some previous interviews that I didn't get around to. So I'm curious for you for a few of those things. We're talking about songwriting. So I'm curious, like, have you ever had like some like situation where like you just couldn't just couldn't write a riff, just couldn't get a song going? Like, have you ever really experienced that? And like, how do you overcome that if you do experience it?
No, I I don't really experience that, honestly. For every album that we've done, we've demoed 30 to 50 songs, probably maybe more like 40 to 50 for every album. And I just bang them out all the time. I mean, it's what I do. I sit here and write music. So I don't really get into any sort of rut with writing songs from a music standpoint. If I try to work on vocals for a song, absolutely, like I'll get stuck or I can't think of something. But yeah, when it comes to playing guitar and writing just the music, like, I don't have any problem with that. And I think it's something that comes with practice. I mean, I've been doing it for years, and I can always sit there and write a new riff on guitar, whether or not the riff might sound good by itself, but in the context of a song, maybe it won't. And I'm very quick to identify once I start working on something, I can listen back and be like, okay, this is going nowhere. Wipe the slate, start again with a different idea and go a different direction. I try not to get too hung up on songs when I write them. Like, for me, it's either working or it's not. But anytime, like, I'll write a song and I'll be like, oh, this song's really not that great and not that interesting. I might give it a thought for a minute or two and be like, is there something I can do? Because I really like this part. I just don't like the rest of the song. Is there something I can do to change this and maybe tilt it and give it a different direction? But 9 times out of 10, when I go back and I try to fix it or change it, it doesn't work. So I've learned not to get hung up on something. It's either happening or it's not. You know what I mean? And okay, so I didn't use this riff. Maybe there'll be another time down the road where I will use the riff on something. Like, I'll be in a song of like, oh, what's going to be in this bridge next? And I'll be like, oh, I had this idea, similar tempo, same key in another song. Why don't I try it here and see how it works? I mean, that's happened from time to time. It's just kind of an endless Rolodex of parts in my mind. I record a lot of them too. You know, if I really like something, usually I record them on my phone. I mean, I have a home studio that I write and work at, but so many times I'll be like watching TV or something and I'll have a riff in my head and I'll just pull my phone out and record it playing my guitar on the couch or something, you know, and then later on I'll go back and listen to it. I'll be like, oh yeah, I had this idea. And then I'll plug into the computer and start tracking stuff.
Oh, just so glad, and that's why I'm just curious, you know, with your process with everything. But obviously, you're very, you know, passionate about music and playing guitar and everything, and it shows, like, obviously in the Oxys music as well. But I'm kind of curious. So, do you have like a preferred, like, what is your like go-to guitar for like recording?
Oh man, I use the same guitar for everything. I have well, my go-to guy, the guitar you saw me on stage with, I call that my main guitar, and I play that guitar all the time. But I have a bunch of guitars. I have guitars in different rooms in the house, you know, kind of that kind of thing. So I just pick up whatever's close. If I'm recording at home, I will use the Gibson Les Paul Jr. double cutaway TV yellow guitar that I play live. I'll use that at home. Though I also have an original 1959 Gibson Les Paul Jr. double cutaway, but it's cherry color. It's not TV yellow. And sometimes I'll record with that because the pickup sounds really awesome in it. And obviously I don't want to be out toting that around from club to club because I don't want to lose it or break it. So yeah, it's usually the TV yellow when I play live is what I do most of the stuff on. I do write a lot of songs though on a 1960 Melody Maker, Gibson Melody Maker that I have. That guitar sounds incredible. Those are the most underrated guitars ever. They're so light and they're so thin, but they resonate so insanely well. Probably because the wood's real old, you know. And Curtis Novak, this guy in California, he's got his own pickup company. He makes pickups special, you know, specifically for that guitar, and they're basically single coil size pickups, but they're P90s. So they're P90s, but he has them in a thinner housing, you know, and I slap one in that guitar, but I love that guitar. Like the wood feels so good on it. The fretboard is old Brazilian rosewood, you know, it feels good. It sounds good. So I write a lot of songs on that. It's light and I can carry it around my house and play it wherever. And I don't have to go grab my stage guitar out of my case or anything because it's just always sitting around somewhere.
A great guitar collection. I've seen the one obviously when I saw you live, and I got a cool photo of it, but it looks mostly green because of the lights at Liars Club, so the yellow doesn't come through as much.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, the whole reason those guitars, the reason they call them TV yellow is because those guitars were made back when television was still black and white, and the reason that they made those yellow was specifically for the television. To like give them a different tone in black and white.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, something like that. But that's why they call them TV yellow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. So I got one final question. We're closing this out here pretty soon. So I'm curious for you, obviously talking about, you know, playing guitar, recording music, and all of that. This is actually a question I had in my first interview with you I didn't get around to. So I'm curious, and I'd like to ask you now, is that was there ever any like point in your life where you didn't want to like either be part of a band, record music, play guitar, like you were thinking about doing like something else with your life? Did you ever have that moment?
Oh yeah, big time. That would have probably been about 2006, maybe 2007. I'd just gotten back from a tour, kind of got burned on the tour money-wise, wasn't real happy about it. The band I was playing with, you know, I let them know like, hey, you guys you didn't come through on your end of the deal here. And no one was really too sympathetic about it. And they really just acted like they didn't care. And, you know, it was at that point, I'm like, fuck this. I'm sick of dealing with people. And as I had stated before, you know, like in the Oxys, it takes 5 people being on their A game for the band to function right. And if one person is not clicking on on all cylinders, it will sabotage the band. And so I dealt with that before a little bit. And it was at that point I'm just like, you know, I'd come to the conclusion that rock and roll doesn't pay the bills, which everyone had always told me anyway. And I up and moved to California, to Santa Cruz, started working a real professional job, did really well at it. And then sure enough, you know, a couple of years after I did that, one of my friends calls me up in Oakland and says, "Oh, hey, you want to play in my band?" And at that time I was like, "Yeah, sure. I think I can deal with this again." But then once you get into it, it's over. You're hooked. You're back in the game, you know. And here I am today, still doing it. Which, if you'd asked me 20 years ago, would I still be doing this? I'd say absolutely not. But for whatever reason, I can't quit, and it's good for me. It's healthy. Writing songs is a super healthy outlet for me. We all have our hang-ups in life and constantly dealing with life. So a good release for me is to write music and performing music too. Some people go to the gym, you know, I go play a show.
As you said, it's a good outlet to have with it. Plus, you know, everyone needs some type of, you know, outlet or art to focus on, because life can really bring you down and suck. So it's nice to have something you can look forward to and you're excited about and you're happy about to just, you know, experience actually positive emotions.
Yeah.
So, but now as we're closing out this interview, so I know the Oxys got some great plans for the rest of this year, obviously with the album release, some great shows, but like, what's like the rest of 2025 looking like for the Oxys?
2025, the rest of it. So we're just, you know, we're going to start by getting the record out, first of all. And in the meantime, we got a bunch of live shows coming up. We have some stuff at the end of August. We're going out for 6 or 7 days with a band called Quinn the Brain from Houston. They're friends of ours. Super excited about that. It's all going to be pretty much regional shows. We're going up to Tulsa to play the annual punk rock flea market, and we'll do a show there. Oklahoma City, Tyler, Texas, Dallas, and we start that one here in Austin, in our hometown. Our record won't be out by then, but we're still going to be playing whatever. It's close. Then we're headed up to Kansas City, St. Louis, Chicago. We'll be in Indianapolis on the 4th of October. And then we're going to finish up in New Orleans on that run at, I think they call it NOLA by NOLA. It's their take on South by Southwest kind of thing. From what I'm told, I really don't know much about it. But we're playing with the Pallbearers there, who I love. They're my favorite New Orleans band. Then after that, we have some shows on the West Coast. We're going out to LA and San Diego, Costa Mesa, probably Vegas. And we're doing some shows with the Hangmen, who we've toured with before. They're good friends of ours. Love that band. And also joining us on that band will be the Joneses, which I'm super stoked about because I've been a Joneses fan forever. The Oxys, we don't cover many songs, but we actually cover Fix Me by the Joneses. So that's a testimony to how much I like that band. Yeah, we're just going to keep pumping out live shows, but somewhere in there we got to squeeze in going into the studio and tracking the new record. So that will be finished hopefully before December. We just kind of have to get in the practice room and fine tune some of the songs, and then we'll just go in the studio and bang it out.
Well, right. It sounds like some phenomenal plans to close out 2025 with some amazing shows with some amazing bands. And hopefully I get to catch you at the Chicago show as well with everything. But it's definitely some great plans. I will leave some links for the Oxys in the description of this podcast. Casting Pearls Before Swine. It will be available September 19th. Make sure to check it out, give it a listen, get that pre-order in, all that fun stuff as well. And please check out and support the Oxys. But Jason, it was awesome to catch up and chat with you again.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's always great to talk to you. I should mention, too, we do have a new website, www.theoxys.com. We've had it for a while, but we just got it renovated, shall we say.
Very good. I will also leave the website link in the description of this podcast as well. Make sure to check it out. For Jason, Ginchy, Kottwitz of the Oxys, I'm your host always, Matthew Thomas. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Super Cool Radio. And remember, stay frosty.